folks, it's snowing outside, so it's the perfect day to transplant my parsley. Just want to show you a few things of what I do and reasons why I do them. When I started the parsley seeds, I throw in quite a few, as you could see. Some did not make it in spots. I'm going to have to thin all these out and transplant them into 6-packs. The reason why these didn't make it, I know why. I didn't water them. They missed watering here. They dried out in the very beginning stage as the seed, even before it started to germinate and pop out of the ground. You have to be careful of that. It's a no-no, but no big deal if you're throwing enough seeds in there that you could just divide out. They now have their first set of true leaves, so that's when you want to be transplanting them because they can no longer sustain themselves without fertilizer. So what I do is I put a little biotone in my water, and I'll just water them in just slightly. But in my soil, this is Pro Mix. It's very nice. It works well for us. So I put in some organic plant food, the worm casting with lobster kelp, and I also put some Trifecta in. And I just put them in cups because they're easier to deal with. So I'll just just sprinkle some in there. That's the worm casting. And trying to do this one-handed with a tablet is not easy. That's the Trifecta. You don't need a lot for your transplants. Unless you're doing tomatoes and peppers into bigger cells, then I would add a little bit more. But you're just going to mix this up nicely. I'll continue to do that later. So what I have here, when I start my seeds, I always start them in clean cells. So either new or I sterilize them with a very light bleach solution, and they have to be dry before you start. But when I transplant, I really don't worry about it, because these things have been sitting out in the sun, in the rain, whatever. I don't worry about it unless it's my peppers or tomatoes, more delicate things that I care about. I've noticed through my laziness in the years that if I don't wash these and I use them for herbs, lettuce, I have no disease. I have no problem with my plants. They don't die. So I don't worry about it. I only worry about it when they're starting. Once they get going, hell, there's lots of disease and germs and whatever in the garden if you're going to plant them. So it's technically not a big deal. So what I'm going to do here now is transfer some of that soil into my 6-packs, and I will start dividing up the plants and see how many parsleys. I bet I end up with a couple of trays at least out of that, and that's about what I need for the year. I use about 2 trays worth, 2 flats. So that'll fill up my whole parsley area and give me enough for the year for the freezer and to eat for the year, and usually a lot left over because I keep cutting from them. So, you know, I love parsley. Parsley's wonderful. So once I get to transplanting, I will be back. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of this soil and I'm just going to start filling it in, maybe halfway. You don't have to be neat about it. This is why I keep a newspaper on my table And I keep a paintbrush handy so I can sweep my spot clean when I'm done. If I have too much in a spot, I could just move some over to another cell. It's not a biggie. Now I'm trying to show you this using a tablet and one hand. And yes, I know I need a manicure. But no, I'm not doing it today. I'm doing this, and then I will do a manicure. So I'm going to pop out one of these. And I'm trying to watch what I'm doing. This is not easy. Okay. See how this is dry? I purposely did not water them. I did not want to water them. A lot of people like it wet to separate them, and I don't understand that. I've tried both ways, and you ever try combing wet hair? It tangles, and dry does not. So I find it very easy to get them apart. I do not find it easy trying to show you with one hand, though. Holding a tablet, and I don't have Fred here to help me. So I'm just going to show you how they come apart by shaking them. How's that? Okay. Come on, babies. Alright, I may have to put this down and take them apart because you do need two hands to do this, and I'm just making a mess. But as you can see, they're just going to come right apart. It's because the soil isn't attached to them. So let me do this before this. I don't want them drying out either. You don't want the roots to dry out. So I'll be right back. Okay, so now I've separated them. They came apart super easy. And as you can see, all the roots are attached. When I do this, I have them facing this way, then this way, then this way, and this way. And now I could easily just push my finger down and just tuck those roots in. I just tuck them in a little. You know, gently, you know, you don't want to force and break them. And then I'm just going to add my soil to it. And once again, I need two hands for this. But heck, there's people that are wounded and whatnot and only have one arm. And I'm sure they could do it. So I'm going to do my best. Maybe to show that it can be done one-handed. So I'm just going to continue around. And when I water these in, I don't think I could show you because that I definitely need two hands. I'll try to prop this up on something to show you, but I water around the perimeter with that biotone. And as I'm doing it, I'm holding my plant straight up so that it just stays straight up. I believe I have a video on YouTube that shows that. That if you hold it straight up and water in, it'll secure it into a straight up position. So let me see what I could do if I could prop this on something to show you. Be right back. Okay, well I got the tablet propped on a box. There's two boxes. And I've got them all set. That one cell gave me two six-packs here. So I think I'm going to have plenty. So now I'm going to start gently watering them in while I hold, oops, one got, that's okay. While I hold them up, let the water settle. Come on, you. This one I'm just going to hit with water again, holding it up so it settles. And I could just pull the soil to the back. And I'm just going to keep going around. This one wanted to tip over with watering. I'm not going to let it. So I'm just going to hold it. The water will go down. It stands up. So I'm just going to continue this process, and when I'm done, I will show you them all watered in. So they're all watered in, they're all set, and I'm going to continue transplanting these for the next 20 minutes, I suppose, until I'm done, and we'll see how many I end up with. But as you can see, they're all standing upright. Just hold them until they soak through. It only takes 2 seconds. But you'll have them standing up. They won't be sitting in the dirt. They won't be sitting in the water. They won't struggle to straighten themselves up again because they're weighted down with, dirt. Now they could just take in all that nutrient and start growing. And by the time it's ready to plant, they're going to be nice and big. And I trimmed them to about 3 leaves. I trim all the outer leaves by the time I put them in the garden, and I just keep the 3 young leaves, and they take off like crazy. You'll be eating these within a week of putting them in the garden. So that's my tip on how I do it. Take care. Thanks for joining Montgomery's Garden.